Hey everyone, Retire on Dividends here. Finally getting around to making this video. I've been looking forward to making this video, and it's a work in progress. And it's going to be a it's kind of like a series, we'll call it, because it's not going to take something I can get done in one day, and it's honestly going to be an ongoing process. But in short, I'm going to talk about my Retire on Dividends account that I'm going to create. So most of you, you know my journey, what I'm trying to do. Right now, a lot of you are just familiar with my Retire Now account. That is a taxable brokerage where I'm investing in only high yield funds. And the point of that account is to use the income now for whatever reason. The immediate reason, at least in my, for me, is to be able to, supplement my wife's salary so that she can leave her current full-time job. So that is the first goal of that account, and then so on and so forth, But I also have two other accounts, and the two other accounts, one is my 401k. And what I consider that one is the growth fund. Basically, since I can't touch it till 55, if I use the rule of 55, which means, as long as I quit my job at the age of 55 or after, I believe I can use it without penalty. So since I can't touch it for another 14 years, that is invested in aggressive growth funds. So that is my growth stocks. All of them are in there, right? The main reason is because I'm really limited. They only give me index funds options to choose from. So I choose the most aggressive growth ones I could find, for the best deal, of course. And I try to go through them periodically. I'm actually well overdue to do that. So that'll be something down the road, which I may or may not share. I'm not sure how many people want to see a boring 401k index fund video, but the other account, which is what I'm going to talk about today, is my wife's 401k account. Now, this account, basically, her company offers a broker select option. I believe that's what it's called, which means you, as the investor, can choose whatever stocks you choose. So I can basically, I don't have to invest in the index funds that the company offers. I can buy Apple, I can buy whatever, right? So what that account has been doing is investing in individual dividend growth stocks. So I decided recently that, due to limited time, I'll say, mainly because of YouTube, honestly, YouTube has kind of taken over like a part-time role in my life. I can no longer monitor the individual dividend growth stocks like I used to. I used to follow them like religiously and, post about them religiously in my Instagram and things like that. But I can't do it. So I've decided that I'm going to make that account the Retire on Dividends account. And when I say Retire on Dividends account, this is what I would like to have when I retire. So what better time to prep for this than now? So I'm going to set up her account, her 401k account. This will be the Retire on Dividends account, which eventually I would hope, all of the money would work, in a similar fashion. So this is what it's, at least what my plan is, and this is what it would look like. So 25%, as you can see, so there's 4 different sections. 25% would go to low risk. These would be to the dividend growth stocks, the ones that I'm accustomed to investing with. However, I'm no longer going to invest in individual companies. I'm going to invest in ETFs. For the longest time, I've been against ETFs due to the expense fee. I'm like, I could do it myself. But I have thrown in the towel since, and I am willing to pay, the expense fee to allow, the experts to do it for me. However, I will still do a review and find the best dividend growth ETFs, and I'll buy them. And the goal is the starting average between all of them should be at least 3%. The expected yield would vary from 0 to 4%. I don't even know why I put 0. I should have put just 1, but some are less than 1 actually. So that would be a quarter of, the account. Another quarter of the account, which I would consider low risk, is real estate investment trust. I've always wanted to get involved with real estate when I was younger, but I was always broke, so it wasn't, it was more of a dream than a reality. So, and obviously, as I got into stocks, got into the investing world, you come to realize you don't really, it's a lot more work than people could imagine. So, needless to say, I've never really was able to own a property that I was able to rent. However, I still like the idea of being a part of it through real estate investment trust, aka REITs. So I want a quarter of my account to be in real estate. Again, via REIT ETFs. These are going to be through ETFs as well. So I'm going to research all the ETFs, all the REIT ETFs out there, and see which ones are the best. And again, I'm assuming this is what I just put. I didn't really do the research on the REITs yet, but I'm assuming they're going to be around 3 to 6% yield. Okay. My average yield, I'm hoping to start around 5%. All right. Okay. Now the fun part, right? The other half. So I'm still going to be aggressive in my retire on dividends account, and I'm going to have 25% in the mid-risk level. What do I consider mid-risk? Anything that yields 10 to 20%. So we're talking about the QYLDs of the world. We're talking about the SVOLs. We're talking about the SPY-Is. We're talking about, I guess FEPI's on the border. FEPI's more so 25%. So more so, I'll say the risky ones, but they're not as risky. So to me, they're mid-risk. So I plan on, putting a quarter of the funds into those funds as well. And I hope they would average starting yield 13%. That would be my goal on that. And then last but not least, basically majority of my retire now account, as you're familiar with, well, these are going to be the high risk. So I'm not going to stop, even when I'm retired, I'm not going to stop investing in these high risk funds. I'm still going to invest in them. Why? Because they're amazing. I mean, they bring such good income. However, I can't see myself putting all my money into those funds, all of my retirement money. So I want a healthy balance that would help me sleep at night. And this is what I've come up with. I'm not saying this is set in stone, but right now this is what I've come up with. So these would yield 25% or more. And I'm hoping to get a starting average yield of 35%, when I start my positions. And again, the plan is I'm going to set up her account in this format. But the process will be from top to bottom. I'm going to go through dividend growth ETFs. I'm going to pick and choose the best ones. And then I'll share a video. I'll tell you guys which ones I chose. And then I'll go through the same thing, REIT ETFs. I'll go through the best ones. And then I'll share with you guys what I chose. And then same thing with the rest. So it'll be fun. I'm going to have fun with it. That is for sure. And again, I have planned to allocate 25% of the account, which is about 45,000, I believe. Probably going to start off 5,000 each, so it'll be, I'll pretend like I have 20,000 in the account, and then I'll go from there. But it'll be fun. So yeah, and then obviously I'm not gonna turn on drip. It's going to be manual dividend reinvestment. So from there on out, the plan would be to again manually reinvest in the best discounts while still trying to keep an even allocation across these different levels. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so now it's time to look at the numbers. All right, so if we scroll to the right, so this is all going to be based on the average yield. All right, I go up to 2 million. Yeah, okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, no. All right, there we go. Oh, forget it. Anyway, all right. So on the top, from column G all the way to column L, this is basically represents an amount that you would have at retirement. So if you had $250,000 at retirement and you invested the way I just showed you, you would have on the bottom $35,000 annually. And you see the breakdown. Obviously, the safe ones, the 3% yield, are only going to pay you 1875. That's not going to help. However, look at the bottom. 35% yield is going to give you 21,000. So that's a massive help. And I mean, people all over the world can live off 35,000. But for me, no. Not even remotely close. So that number is not even a possibility, for me. So I just wanted to share that number in case anyone can live off 35,000 using this method. 250,000 would do it. All right, now let's look at the next option. 500,000. Okay, so how much would this give you annually? This would give you 70,000. Oh, sorry, I should give the whole. I have more of a picture. Yeah, monthly, weekly. That would you have the whole picture right there. All right, so yeah, the 35,000 would give you 2,917 monthly, which, most people living in expensive states, that's probably their mortgage. So anyway, what would 500,000 give you? It would give you 70,000 a year, which is 5,800 a month. Now that may be enough for a lot of people, especially if your mortgage is paid off. So again, 500,000 across, I'll say safe stocks, medium stocks, high risk stocks, assuming that's where you want to land to, then that should be enough, right? If you can live off 70,000. All right, now we're getting to the big bucks here. 750,000. This would pay you 105,000 per year, or 8,750 per month. Now this is more doable. However, this is not my goal either, because I really, with the mortgage, that would not be enough. Without the mortgage, could probably make do. However, I still, like, for me, I'm striving for at least $1 million, but let's get into those numbers. So let's look at $1 million and higher. So $1 million would pay you 140,000 annually. 1.5 million would pay you 210,000 annually. And then 2 million would pay you 280,000 annually. Okay? So these are some good numbers. Again, thanks to the high yielders pushing that number up, because look at the 2 million. The high yielders alone will pay you 175,000. So that's pretty amazing. Okay, so now guess what? Guess what the next step is? How much are you going to reinvest? Are you going to reinvest any, or are you going to reinvest none? My plan is to reinvest 25% and live off 75%. So now, really, these are the numbers that I'm looking at. So, wait a second. Yeah, okay. So if you look now, is the mill enough? The mill is no longer enough, because 105,000, I'm not comfortable. I mean, obviously there's Social Security too, but like most people say, don't even add that into the equation. It's just going to be an added bonus. All right. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, I wouldn't be surprised, with our government. So let's just, fend for ourselves here. Okay. All right. So now let's look at 1.5 million. That would be 157,500 a year. Now, at least for me, I think I'm comfortable with that number. So I would reinvest 25% and I'd live off 157,000. So to me, that's my number, 1.5 million or more. 2 million would be even better. And obviously I didn't go beyond 2 million because, getting above 2 million will be tough. It will be really tough. But that's why I kind of stretched it from 250 to 2 million. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. What is your goal? Is your goal something like this, or is it just, are you only doing the high risk ones so you can, need less money, or are you doing a mixture? Or are you just doing all safe ones? If you do all safe ones, then 2 mil won't even bring you, much at all. But, so yeah, my plan, again, this particular account, by the way, is my wife's retirement account. This is her 401k, which when she leaves her job, which is part of the investment journey, she'll, I'll roll it into a Roth IRA. And let's go to this tab. Her age is almost 39. We'll just say 39 for this calculation purposes. And so an IRA you can't touch till 59 and a half. All right. So that's about 20 years. Okay. So if I draw this out 20 years, how much can I get her account up to with this current strategy? And keep in mind, this current strategy, I did an average yield at the top. If you look in the red, the average yield is 14%. So with using this strategy, the starting average yield should be 14%. Now, if you look at the top, okay, starting investment, $45,000, starting yield, 14%. Okay, great. Starting annual, should have made this aligned, right? Doot. There you go. Starting annual income, that would produce 6,300. And then starting monthly income, 525. Okay, not bad, not great. But again, right now, this is in a retirement account that I cannot touch for 20 years. All right, monthly investment. So right now, I'm putting about $562.50 from her paycheck. That's going into the fund. And the plan is to mimic that when she leaves her job. So that will be a little tough. I'll have to figure out how we can squeeze that into the budget. But I ran the numbers as if we did. If we can't, we can't. So be it. But I ran the numbers of this spreadsheet, assuming a contribution of $6,750, which is the 562 times 12. Okay. So if you take the first year, all right, 6,750, plus the annual income, it brings a total net annual income of 6,300. So you add that into the capital, and now you start with 58,000 in year 2025. And then as you repeat this throughout the years, you're still yielding 14%, no more, no less. You're not paying taxes because it's in a Roth. When all said and done in 20 years, this account should have $1 million. Okay. So if I play my cards right and I handle this account, properly like I want to, then this will be 1 million of the 1.5 I spoke of, right? Again, the 1.5 would suffice based on using 75% of the income. So that would be perfect if I can get 1 million out of that, because my 401k, it's going to definitely cover the difference. However, keep in mind, I'm going to have a taxable account that's going to be building up during that time. Plus, that taxable account may even be my retirement account before I even need this money. Wishful thinking, I know, but again, I'm just using this. I have to have a plan for each account, right? So right now, the plan for this account is to prep my retirement account and how I plan to, set up those funds. Because again, I'm 41. Like I said, my wife's almost 39, and I want to retire in 10 years. But if I retire at 55, I guess that's fine too. The real problem is, I guess healthcare, because I have young kids, so I have to consider that expense, in the budget. We'll see how things go though. A lot can happen throughout the years, but realistically, I always said I want to retire in 5 to 10 years. But who knows? If I can get 10 years, then I will be happy. If I can get 5 years, that would be amazing. Obviously, I'll keep working, but I'm just talking about having the option to retire when I say retire, because I'm not going to sit home and not work. That is for damn sure. But again, having the option would be amazing. So anyway, the point of this is to show you guys my journey to retiring on dividends. This is just part of the journey. About my Retire Now account. That's just aggressive as hell. I'm going after it, right? Numbers, boom, boom, boom. High risk, high reward. But when I retire, what's the plan? And the plan is going to look like this, right? It's going to be 25% in, these different, high dividend growth stocks. These are dividend growth ETFs. These are ETFs that invest in companies that grow their dividend every single year. Some of them are starting higher yield. Some of them are lower starting yield. But in the end, they are performers. And then there's REITs, real estate investment trusts. These are typically starting high yields, and a lot of them can raise their dividend over time, like Realty Income. And then we have the mid yielders, which are very respectable. They're essentially, we call them capital flat, but they pay the same dividend every month. One sec. And then you have the famous high yielders. I'm already planning on buying YieldMax as one of them, not the individuals, YieldMax. I'm just going to buy YieldMax in general. And then I'll have to see what else is out there, obviously outside of Defiance, because I want a starting yield of 35% or higher. And again, the reason I want 25% reinvestment is I want to keep reinvesting in all of these, all right? Especially the high yielders. You want to get you want to keep your cost basis low so your yield stays at a respectable level. So again, this is the first video of many of my retire on dividends journey. And for a lot of people, a mil would be enough. So if you're looking at retiring with a mil, maybe you don't have young kids, maybe you don't have any kids, and that's probably enough for you. But for me, I got a 1-year-old, so there's a lot of years left. So I can't be just retiring from a full-time job with in 10 years he's 11. So obviously he's under my roof still. So I got to come up with a better plan. I'm not close to that part, so I'm not really thinking that far ahead. Right now I'm thinking, I'm just drawing it out, picturing in advance, where I could be, and then I'll run the numbers for that part later. Again, healthcare, things like that. But plus, I'm not considering promotions at my full-time job, which would bring me additional income, which would allow me to invest much, much more. But as of right now, I have 3 accounts. I have the Retire Now account, which I share monthly already. And I have this account. This is the Retire on Dividends account, which I will begin to share more frequently. And then I have the typical everyday 401k account, which invests in the boring index funds, which, again, I may or may not share. Leave me feedback, by the way, on that if you guys want me to talk about, the index funds I chose for my 401k once I do that review. I don't know when I'm going to do it because, there's a lot of things on the plate right now. So, but if I do get to it, let me know if that would be something of interest for you. I could show you what I look for and whatnot. But so yeah, that's the plan. I did finish my dividend growth ETF review, just, heads up. And I'm not going to share that now. I will have that hopefully by next week. I'll share the results of that. And I chose 7. I chose 7 ETFs, I believe. And then we'll get into that and get into why. I'm currently working on the REITs. I just started them, so I haven't got much done. I know a lot of people tell me they don't like ETFs, which I don't know, that confuses me. But I guess maybe they're just saying there's just not enough REITs out there to make an ETF on, but I would be shocked if there wasn't. I'm sure there's there's a lot of decent ones, but we'll see when I track their performance. If the performance is not there and I have to invest in individual, REITs myself, then so be it. I'm good with that. But for now, I'm going the ETF route because I'd rather pay someone to just do the work as long as they have a good history of it. So that is my goal. And then I'll work on the mid-carders. And then last but not least, I'll work on the high yielders. I'm not too worried about them. I got a lot of experience with them lately. Sorry, my throat's killing me. I've been chugging water. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. Again, this is the beginning series of the Retire on Dividends account. This is the account that, this is how I plan to run all of my money when all said and done, when I'm an old fart and retired, hopefully no later than 55. But yeah, I'm doing it now because I want to see how it works out. I want to, I'm planning ahead and I'm doing it in a retirement account. It's in my wife's 401k, soon to be Roth IRA. And guess what? I can't touch it till 20 years anyway. So I'm going to build that sucker up, and that sucker is going to be a mill, right? If all goes well. And then obviously I have my taxable, and where that's headed, right? Hopefully up and up and up. And then the 401k is, that's the main nest egg. Hopefully that'll put us over the edge. But either way, if you guys enjoyed this content, please click that like button. If this is something you're excited about as well, let me know in the comments, because I was not going to lie, I was very excited to produce this video, and I'm very excited to start this journey. Mainly because I get the feel of retirement, because I'm creating the actual retirement, setup, even though I'm still working my ass off. But you get the gist. But either way, let me know what you guys think, and if you're excited for the the follow-up videos. There's going to be 4 follow-up videos, one for dividend growth, one for REITs, one for mid yields, and one for high yields. And then after that, I'll talk about how it's been doing, things like that, any changes I'll make, or if there's feedback on, if you guys find something better, some options that are better, then obviously I'll bring them up in another video. But either way, that's all I got for today. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Later.